So my name is Chatswin Discing. I am doing business for information technology, or BIT for short, and I am in my final year.
Okay, do you want to mention your hometown?
Yeah, I'm from Southampton,
Okay,
so not too far from Bournemouth.
so just to confirm, you are in your final year studying business for IT.
Yes,
So, what university are you currently studying at?
I'm at Bournemouth University.
So, why did you choose your course?
So I've always been a fan of like IT and all of that,
Mhm.
and initially I was on a computing route because computing route's quite a general route, so I didn't really know what to specialize in. And after my first year, where I got to experience a variety of different aspects of computing, I found that I didn't enjoy programming as much as I thought I would. So I moved on to business for IT, which is less programming, although there is still some programming, but it's more on the business side of IT. Um, I still learn technical aspects, but at the plus side, it's um, I'm learning more how to use software than making the software. Plus, it's also good for developing people skills and such things, and how to act professionally in the real world.
So, obviously, you said you're in your final year. Did you take a
Yes,
placement year out?
I did take a placement.
So, that means you've been at Bournemouth University for almost 4 years now. What do
Indeed,
you think of your
yes,
course?
I enjoy it. I think it's a good course. Um, there's definitely there were definitely like some ironing out issues at first. Like I think they didn't really because there were some issues with some of the lecturers with their personal problems and such things, and so there was some confusions in the course and like units got moved around last minute and such things. But other than those little hiccups, overall, I did enjoy it. I found that I learned a lot, and um, it wasn't very easy, and I didn't just go through it. But at the same time, I felt accomplished when I did finish my units and such things. So
Okay.
overall, I enjoyed it.
So, you've been at, obviously, like you said, doing the computing, just to kind of remind them, what did you go to? Did you come from sixth form or college?
I came from a college.
So at this college, what did you study before you came to university?
So the final 3 units I studied my second year of college were computing, maths, and physics.
And do you think those subjects helped you with your computing course?
The computing and maths part definitely, because the computing allowed me to get some basic understanding of programming, which was very useful starting university. Because even though in uni they kind of treat everyone as though no one's ever touched programming before, it still meant that like the first few months were a lot easier for me than maybe some other people because I had that previous experience. Maths was good in some cases because some of the units I've had throughout my time at uni involved some maths, not complex maths or maths as hard as what I did in A levels, but at least because I did maths in A levels, I still had it fresh in my mind when I was into uni. Again, making it easier for me. Physics, not so much. I didn't need to do physics.
So what do you think the best A level slash subjects are for your course, except for obviously, like you said, computing and maths?
um, Business is a good choice because business for IT, so it helps to develop this. It's in the name.
Mm,
Um, that's really it per se. Because of the other two, I said earlier, I feel were the best choices as well.
okay.
Nothing else is important enough, really.
Okay. So like you said, you go to Bournemouth University.
Yes.
What are the best and worst things about going to Bournemouth University? We'll start off with the worst.
Okay. So Bournemouth University, I'm sure, like any other university, is can be expensive. Everything is always charged, and of course the student loan helps out, but some cases maybe the student loan may not be as useful, and so you find out yourself maybe you having to pick up an extra job just so that you can like do aspects of the university life. And in relation to that, on top of maybe the work you're doing and all that, it can be quite stressful. Those are really the big issues.
Okay.
Uh,
Is that everything like you'd say that's bad about going to Bournemouth University? Okay.
yes, yeah.
So what are the best things about going to Bournemouth University?
Well, obviously it's the independence. The uni treats everyone like adults, and it's kind of a good experience. definitely makes you more mature, and it's quite a diverse place. Bournemouth University as a it's like I think the last numbers what is 18,000 students. That was like a couple of years ago, and and 1,000 international students. So that means a lot of people you're meeting have
Different background.
very different backgrounds, different histories,
Mm.
different how they do things differently. It can really open your eyes, and maybe you can learn some things that you never would have thought about.
Okay. So, like you said, you've been at Bournemouth for 4 years. So, if we
Yes.
go into accommodations,
hmm
where did you live in your first year?
So in my first year, I lived in a house, so
And
not halls.
what did you think about what was the experience of living in that house?
It was good. I mean, one of the biggest benefits of him living in a house was it was a lot cheaper than other forms of accommodation. And I mean, I was quite lucky, but in my house in first year, I had a humongous room with like a massive bed, and so it was very comfortable and very nice. And compared to my friends who were in halls, my room probably was much better than what they had.
Okay.
And I found that it was a nice balance between experiencing a social life and like not being too far from the university. It was like the house was like right in the middle between like the town center and
Hmm.
the university, so it wasn't too far to either go into uni to study or to go into town to like just have some fun.
Okay. And if we go into our second year,
I've lived in a house all 3 years
all
actually.
3 years. So you've just been in a house.
Yes,
You've never tried.
yeah.
Is there a reason you straight just stayed in a house and you didn't go to halls?
So in first year, I um I actually missed out on applying for halls, so that's why the uni had to put me in a house, and it was like a uni sponsored house in first year called Student Let,
Hmm.
and uh, from at least for my year, because there were significantly less halls available in Bournemouth at the time. They could only provide halls to first year students. So after first year, I could only ever do housing.
Hmm.
But I think that's changed now because
Mm.
there's a lot more halls in town centres. So now any years can go into any halls. So that was really the main reason.
So, do you know about the other accommodations at Bournemouth University now? Have you
Yeah,
seen
I
some of
do.
them?
Yeah, I've quite a few I've had friends that have stayed in the on campus accommodation called Student Village, and I've had friends that have stayed in halls, and I've stayed over at halls, and I've stayed over at Student Village and stuff. So I've experienced those.
So, from what you've seen, what do you say
Yep.
is the best Bournemouth accommodation
So that's quite a tough question to say because they all
for
have
the
their
price?
pros. Say again, sorry.
For the price. So, how
For the
much you're
price.
paying for what you're
Okay.
getting?
So without a doubt, probably the best value for money is just staying in a house
Okay.
because, like I said, it's quite a good balance between studying and socializing. Um, you can, it's a bit of a gamble. It depends on how what kind of house you choose to get. The rooms can be really amazing, and obviously generally the people you're going to be staying in a house with are people that you know,
Hmm.
so you kind of feel more relaxed about staying in a house, whereas in halls at least there's a chance that you'll be staying with strangers, and so you don't know if you might like them or not and such
Mm.
things. Halls is nice though because even though it's a bit more expensive, you kind of get what you the price you're paying in a sense because you get a bus pass, you get you're right in the town center. There's always bus stops right next to the hall, so it's very easy to go to uni at the same time. The rooms are very modern, clean, uh, and everything's included as well.
Okay. So,
And
if oh, sorry, go on.
sorry, I don't know if you wanted me to talk about Student Village as well, just
That's fine. No,
quickly.
go on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Student Village is obviously the best for studying because you're right on campus, so you can easily just go into uni and access all the resources there and then, and it's cheaper than halls. But I think the downside really is that Student Village can be a bit old, so like everything, the rooms and such things may not be as modern as like halls and such, and and the price is still like more expensive than housing generally,
Mm.
and you're very far away from the town center, so it can be quite hard to like go to town to experience the social aspects.
Mm. So, would you
Yeah,
say it's more of just if you want to just be close to university, student village is the
exactly.
one?
it's how you aim. It's what your plan for your year to be in uni like. Do you want to experience the uni life and social lives a bit more, or do you just want to go into uni and just full on focus on studying and nothing else, and
Hmm.
then you choose the best house appropriately?
Okay, so if we go into the Bournemouth area,
Yes.
tell us what for you. What is the must dos in Bournemouth?
So obviously it's the beach. That's like probably the crowning
Biggest.
glory of Bournemouth itself. It's like I think I remember in first year I read a statistic which was like Bournemouth Beach was the fourth best rated best beach in Europe. So that's quite an impressive like accolade to have.
Mm,
And it definitely is amazingly beautiful. And during especially in the summer times, it's just a must do. It's got lovely parks, like there's the lower gardens, which
mhm.
is very pretty. There's the new PH2 mall, which was actually just set up when I joined the uni, and which is a nice, great cinema, great food places. There's VR arcades. There's a lot of bowling alleys, a lot of mini golf places. So generally, the town centre is the best part of Bournemouth itself because you just get everything you'd probably want.
Okay, so what's the nightlife like at Bournemouth University?
It's probably a big part of Bournemouth University. There's a variety of big clubs around, and each a lot of people might disagree, but each day there's is like a specific clubs day you should go to.
Hmm.
Like
What's
one
the
of the biggest
biggest
clubs in
day
Cameo is probably the biggest in
and what
Bournemouth.
day is
It's
that?
Wednesday.
Hey,
So everyone always calls it Cameo
Cameo
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
And because the clubs are a lot cheaper on the weekdays than the weekends. So most students always go out only on the weekdays really. And if you want to go out every single day, it's a different you can generally go to a different club every single day for it,
So
which is
if
quite
we
good.
just break down the days, what would be the club on Monday?
It would probably be the old fire station, at least back when I used to go clubbing. I haven't
And
gone in a
then
while.
Tuesday,
Tuesday is Toast Tuesdays.
and then we have Cameo Wednesday,
Yep.
Thursday.
Thursday is either Lost Paradise, or for one day a month you go to the fire station for a specific special night, which is like rap, hip hop, R&B stuff like that.
Okay,
Very very popular.
and then Friday.
Friday is again old fire station, a different event, and it's a bit more like Cameo on Friday at the old fire station. It's like all kinds of music, and it's
Okay.
very cheap as actually as well on
Hmm.
Friday.
So, is there a lot of shop variety at Bournemouth University, or is it kind of the basics?
I mean, there's definitely a variety of the standard shops you get on the high street. You get like JD, Debenhams.
Your typicals,
There's also like some smaller shops as well, like I can't like Monsoon and such things
like
for
local shops.
not local, but just not like well known.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've seen them once in a while.
Hmm.
There's no upper like expensive places. I feel like I don't think there's an M&S unless I'm mistaken. But
So like the kind of like more on the expensive side of shopping, there's not really much of those kind of shops, like a high end.
yeah, at least in my opinion, I
Okay.
think some people disagree, but yeah,
And is there a lot of food variety at Bournemouth University?
definitely. There's basically any whatever food you feel like having, you can get it in Bournemouth. Like sushi, West like chicken, Nando's are like Portuguese and stuff. There's Korean food, there's Chinese, there's Malaysian, there's Indian. It's just anything you can think
So
of.
anything you can think of,
There's
pretty
somewhere.
much.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the job prospects like at Bournemouth University?
Do you mean like student jobs
Student
or just?
jobs. So in general, and then we'll go into more like Bournemouth actual jobs
Oh, okay. So yeah, in general, it's it's quite easy to get a job, I say, but because there's so many students, you kind of have to do it. You
early.
have to kind of do it early on,
Mm.
otherwise all the best jobs will get taken up. A
Mhm.
lot of people work in places like Waitrose, Lidl, Tesco, um, because Bournemouth is basically a university town now, has a huge amount of students. Almost everywhere you go, there's going to be does jobs.
Mm,
And if you bring a car down, obviously you can do like
deliveries.
Just Eat and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us about your job as a student ambassador and a PAL leader? What they are and what they entail?
Yeah. So I don't do those jobs anymore because I'm in final year, and PAL's the second year job only. Um, so I'll start with a PAL is peer assisted learning. So basically, in first year at Bournemouth, there's a like a 1 hour slot every week where you and your students would speak to PAL leaders, which are second year students, and their job is just basically to help you ease into university life because they've already experienced first year. So they'll provide advice on like maybe course specific stuff, Bournemouth life, university life at Bournemouth, any issues you have, they'll just happily help and such things. The ambassador job is a bit more generic. Uh, it's quite a big part of Bournemouth University. They take in a lot of ambassadors. The pay is very good, and they kind of there's kind of a lot of different jobs that you can do. The most common is open days. So you provide support there, like you set things up. You take uh, put potential future students around with their parents, tell them about the university and stuff. Um, you can also do like specific support sessions for like special events that happen at university. You can also specialize specific parts of the ambassador program. Like you can be a STEM leader and such things where you go to primary schools to talk about university, or you can be like a social media specialist where you kind of handle the social media aspect of Bournemouth University and like do vlogs
Mm,
and such things like that.
okay, so like you said, you went from college to university.
Yes.
So why did you choose university over an apprenticeship slash going right into work?
So I I kind of wanted to. I felt that going to university allowed me to be more independent because I could move out of my parents' place. I had my own place. I had to take care of myself, which is what I wanted to do. Because it's good to be independent, and like just learn to be more mature and stuff like that in such ways. And I also, because university is an experience in itself, it's kind of one of those things I feel like it's good to accomplish or to like
Get
just
through.
enjoy.
Mm,
uh, like one of those aspects in life that nowadays at least it's not that hard to do, and if because it's not that hard, might as well give it a go at the very
mm.
least. And at the same time, you're still working, and even though you're not getting paid, you're still working to getting a degree, which potentially could get you a lot further in life than maybe you expected.
Okay, so as we are having this conversation over Zoom, obviously because we can't meet in person.
Yes,
So how are you holding up during COVID-19?
I'm okay. Obviously, it's quite scary with everything that's been going on and all that stuff, how everything's shut down, and the very sad deaths and everything that's been happening. But I'm just keeping to myself. I'm not going out except for maybe for exercising and stuff, taking the dog for a walk. I mostly just keep myself busy with doing my dissertation or watching TV, playing games, the usual.
So has it affected your life drastically, or kind of just it's kind of a bit of the same?
It's affected my uni life quite drastically because
So
obviously I've
if
had to
we
move back. Oh,
oh,
sorry, just
oh
life in general.
just life in general.
Life in general, I I guess yeah, because I'd probably be going out to meet friends more often. I'll probably meet my girlfriend more often as
Mm,
well and such things, which obviously I can't do any of that for now. Um, I can't just go out, relax in the sun per se, because
mm,
technically we shouldn't do that, even though maybe some people are, but
mm.
that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, so
So how has it affected your course and university?
so my course specifically, it's affected me drastically because obviously I've had to move back home because it's. I mean, I haven't had to, but it's better to be at home with your family than
Yeah.
it is to be at university by
Can you,
yourself.
before you tell us how it affected us, can you tell us what you're doing for your final year and kind of how it's changed, if that makes sense? Because obviously you do, as a final year, I understand you do a
Oh yeah,
project. So
yeah.
kind of how
So
has it stopped the project or kind of
yeah,
interrupted it?
so final year, at least at both university, is there's like 3 semesters, but technically there's really just two semesters. The first semester is where you do a bunch of coursework and exams for like 3 units that you choose, and from the end of second year. And then once you do that, then the second semester, so like February onwards, it's just a project where you choose. some sort of, I guess, thing per se, where you choose to work with a client and you try and create like a solution to a problem that they've had, or you find something yourself, maybe like a theory, or you, it's just anything you want that's related
Something
to
you want to
IT.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, something you want to do. And it's kind of, it's affected my project a bit. That I say a bit, probably significantly, because as part of my project, I've had to. I'm working at my placement company, and I had planned to do meetings with them in person,
Ah.
meet out with a lot more people. And because of all the lockdown, the meetings I've had to do have had to be cancelled.
Hmm.
Because even though it's also affected my work, as you can imagine, for my client, it's also affected them significantly. As I've had to worry about people working from home and all the solutions they've had to prepare to allow people that maybe couldn't work from home. So it's been harder for them to help me in my dissertation as much as they were
Would
were
like to.
happy to.
Hmm.
So I've had to like cut down certain aspects of my dissertation. Like, I remember I was going to do a survey, which was going to require 40 or 50 people from my client's company. And because of all the issues they've had, I've had to settle for just having five.
Hmm.
So it's definitely a significant issue. Also, personally, I find myself better when I'm going to uni to do work.
Hmm.
Like
The environment.
before the lockdown, yeah, I would always uh go to the uni, find a quiet lab room and just work there for several hours. And obviously can't do that anymore because the university has shut
Hmm.
campuses. So, and I find it harder to work from home. I've been managing okay, but I definitely would be able to get significantly more work done if I was at the university.
Would you say it's more like when you're at home, it's kind of like a chill thing? So it's like trying to go from chilling at home, then go to all the work, do all the work in university to now have to combine the two at home. So
Yeah,
obviously all your distractions, family, and everything around you, it's kind of harder to have that straight on focus.
yeah. I mean, when I was at university, I was easily able to do a session from like 10,
Isolate
11
yourself.
a.m. till like 8, 9 p.m. Just straight work
Great.
session with like a
Yeah.
couple hours breaks maybe. But here at home, I don't think I've even reached 3 hours worth of work in one sitting because it's just so hard to.
Mm.
Um, I know some friends, they because they've kind of not gone to uni and they can work at home easily. They've
Mm.
not struggled as much, but I also know plenty of people like me that have struggled working at home. It's just,
Okay.
and also a lot of stress, because it's harder to focus on a dissertation when there's like massive things going on in the world that can affect everyone around your family and such things, and like knowing that anything, even if you go out for like 5 minutes, you could be in contact with someone, and that could like
Potentially
put your entire
contact you.
family in jeopardy. Yeah, and so it's a
Start
lot of
worrying.
mental stress that, on top of doing a dissertation, which is stressful in itself, it
Mm.
can cause effects.
So just before we go into the summary, I just want to ask, how hard was it in your second year to find a placement for your third year? And just we'll answer that question first.
Yeah, so it depends on how well you do in first year, because even though the grades in your first year don't count to your actual degree, they potential placement employers look at your first year grades, and so it's important to get a good start on that. Even then, like let's say you maybe didn't do as well in first year as you had liked, it's not too hard because now it's nowadays placements are very, very commonplace, especially in IT. It's a major aspect of Bournemouth University's computing degree placements. And they have a lot of links with a lot of companies. They have a lot. They provide a lot of support. Um, and even though they give you a deadline, I think until August in your second year to find a placement, otherwise they just push you final year.
Hmm.
It. I've had friends who literally got rejected from like 40, 50 places, and it wasn't until May that they found a placement
Placement.
company that would take them. And it turns out that he absolutely loved that placement company. And because there's always that idea that the best places always go straight away in
Hmm.
September and October.
Hmm.
But I've from what I've seen, that's not necessarily the case for most people. Yes, a lot of the big companies generally do it very early on, like Google and such things. But maybe the best company isn't the best place to work at sometimes, and
Mm. Can
you
just
might
find
find
what's
like a
best for
small
you.
company, yeah, small place maybe, give you a lot of they give you a lot of things to do
Mm.
which improve you yourself. So it's daunting, but it's not hard personally.
And just before, as I said, we go to what advice would you give yourself in your start of your second year for finding a placement in your third year?
Uh, I would probably tell them to, when it came to interviews and stuff, be more relaxed. Um, I feel like the things like so like your technical aspects of your course, so like how good you are at programming or how good you are at specific units is important, but it's not as important as how you are as a person in a workplace. Because companies can always teach you how to do your job, like
Mm,
how to use certain tools, how to follow certain procedures, whatever. But the companies can't teach you to be a good speaker or to like work well, how you work in a professional organization, how how you carry yourself over and such things. So if you can always, if you're ever in an interview situation, if you can show that you are a team player, you are happy to take on the work, and you are always happy to learn, and even if you're not perfect, that you understand that, that, but one of your best aspects is that you like the challenge and such things. Companies would prefer that a lot more than someone who is very technically
techno,
savant,
techno,
but
tech, what's the word? The word technological. I know the word. I know what you're trying to.
yeah,
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 that word.
very technical. They're not.
technical,
I'll just say that.
technical,
Yeah,
technical.
technical.
Yeah,
That you might
technical.
be the most technical person that out of everyone else that's applying for the job, but if you can't convey that, then
You
there's
don't
no
get the
point.
job.
Exactly.
And
So,
what one thing would you say to yourself before, if you were just starting uni?
um,
So
don't
right at the
spend all your
start.
money on takeaway.
Say that again. Sorry.
Don't spend all your money on takeaways.
Take okay, so that was a.
Takeaway,
I've heard something called. Is it? Do you believe in the fresher fever, where
freshest fever.
you kind of go crazy in your first semester with your money going out, trying to do things. Did you fall into this category a little bit, or?
And in some ways, yes, but overall, I think I fared better than a lot of people I know. It's very easy because obviously for a lot of people, when in first year university is like their first proper experience of living their own life,
Mhm.
making their own decisions, they don't have to answer to anyone but themselves. And it's very, I mean, my biggest issue was probably takeaways. At one point, I think in 1 month, I spent a few £100s on takeaways
Just on
alone.
takeaways.
Just I was going crazy with it, and I kind of like after that month, it kind of like it made me realize I need to stop. I need to like save my money up and use it for
Mm,
better things and stuff, or be more conscious. So it's very easy to fall into the takeaway habit because you you have a day of uni, you've been in uni for like 2 hours, you worked hard, you're stressed. It's like can't be
quick
bothered
takeaway.
to make some stuff. Just do it. Quick takeaway. I earned it. All of a sudden
Mm.
you're doing it 5 days in a row. It doesn't really feel like you've earned it anymore.
And then
But
now you've 300, couple £300 in, well, I
yeah,
won't say debt, but you've just spent a couple £100 on
that
just
could have
doing
been
this.
used other things. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Okay, so at this point, we kind of do like a summary of
yeah,
everything we've talked about. If you want to say anything from your point of view, kind of like advice, or you want any help with anything, like say for the future, obviously when this video gets released, maybe shout your socials or your LinkedIn's or literally anything. This is all you for you to. The floor
yeah,
is yours for you to give any advice, anything you want to say. The floor is
yeah.
yours.
Well, so uni is it's a great experience. I highly recommend it to anyone personally, because it's just one of those things that can really shape you as a person for your entire future. Um, you might make friends for life that you never would have guessed to be ever be friends with, and it's also, I feel like one of the most important aspects of university is the people you're friends with, because yes, a lot of the work you're going to be doing is solo work, so work that only you need to do, that you're doing on your own. There's no team stuff, but having the perfect round friends around you that are willing to help you when you need help, because in real life you're gonna be asking help from your coworkers and stuff. You're not gonna do you're not just going to do work and ignore everyone around you.
Mm,
And it's okay to ask for help on to do stuff in uni with your friends, because you can't be perfect at everything. And uh, in the end, some units won't be as important to you, other than the fact that there are units that you have to get to move on to the next stage of uni.
mm,
So it's okay to ask for help, and it's important to have the perfect friends around you that are hardworking and stuff. Because if you're, I don't know, some people are different, but I find that I'm affected by the people I'm around with,
mm,
and I was lucky enough that I'm around friends that are fun and like to do stuff, but at the same time work hard, which pushes me to work hard, and that has allowed me to do as well as I have. Um, I guess what, shout out to my LinkedIn, Chatswin Discing. It was any potential employers. have
so if you just say like LinkedIn at and say where the just the name.
Yep. So LinkedIn at my name, Chaswinder Singh.
It'll be on the screen.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
come across just the. So if you just want to end the video with, don't forget to like,
yeah.
subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Okay. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and I am plugged in.
Thank you.